Mohammad Musab, our Pakistan correspondent, is joining us on this broadcast from Islamabad. He was, of course, on the ground, on the field from day one to observe and to understand the Islamabad peace talks. I want to ask him how he's feeling. As of this early morning, J.D. Vance has left Islamabad, and of course, what of this peace talk is very important. I want to know the ground realities from Mohammad Musab in Islamabad. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling sleepy, to be honest. It's been more than 48 hours that we haven't slept. It's been a marathon run. For most foreign journalists who were here from different countries, there were major news organizations here, the biggest of the biggest radio stations, television channels, digital outlets, and at the same time, newspaper organizations were here. There was a media facilitation center set up at the convention center in Islamabad, where news was coming in from all across the globe. People like you, anchors who do shows and newsrooms were being very patient as all eyes were in Islamabad. Uh, we were hoping for something more positive to come out as an outcome of these talks. But I still have hope. I still think that it's not gone down the drain as of yet. I think there's still hope. JD Vance's, the US Vice President's last words were not that the ceasefire is broken. His last words were that we've given our best and final
Final
offer.
offer.
Pakistan, I believe, I'm not sure, and I haven't really had any confirmation on this, but I believe Pakistan will remain uh, actively involved in some behind the scene negotiations that will still go on. As we know, the 2 week ceasefire brokered by Pakistan was started on Tuesday, and there's still time. It's still not 1 week since that was done. But having said that, it was a good attempt from both parties. I believe it was positive a mindset that they brought, a very clear-headedness. Both sides knew what they wanted. The US had a 15-point agenda, the Iranians had a 10-point agenda. But we also must keep in mind that this is a 47-year-old dispute that cannot be resolved in a 21-hour sitting. I understand the frustration on both sides, also high hopes from all over the world as the global economy might take a hit if they decide to go back to war. But I think it was a very positive development that both sides accepted a third party facilitation, a third party mediation. They accepted to sit down face to face after having been at war twice in the last 1 year. Uh, so all is not gone down the drain. There's still positives from the fact that no matter what happens, that after having been at war for more than a month, uh, they finally do realize that negotiations are the way forward, and it's not war that can solve these disputes that they have amongst themselves. It's at the end of the day, it's going to be negotiations. They'll have to sit down on a table. But at the same time, I must commend the Pakistani government's side, not the fact that I'm a Pakistani or I'm sitting in Pakistan, but Pakistan's global relevance was at display. The fact that Pakistan has the ability, whatever economic conditions that Pakistan is under at this point in time, it still has the ability to bring two opponents to a table. And the fact that both sides trusted Pakistan because they've sat down at Qatar last year, they've sat down in
Right.
Oman this year. So yes, there are quite a few positives from this as well.
Can I
Right.
question?
Please, please, you
Tell
can
me,
ask him.
I couldn't tell from the news reports, but was anybody from the Republican Guard in the contingent from Iran? It looked like they were the normal
Uh,
administrative
Yeah.
speak. Yeah.
To answer that question, there was more than an 80-member delegation that came in from
Oh,
Iran.
okay.
Uh, the fact the fact that the chief of defense forces Sayyid Asim Munir, he was wearing a military uniform, and that's very significant when he received the Iranian delegation in Islamabad. So I can confirm that there were at least two military generals from the IRGC, and that is why he had that military uniform on. If you see the visuals, that when he was receiving the US delegation, he was in civilian clothes, and that's because there was no military personnel on board when the US Vice President arrived in Islamabad, Noor Khan Air Base in Islamabad.
There is a story that is coming out regarding Benjamin Netanyahu, who is using lethal, of course, unwarranted attacks on southern Lebanon using of white phosphorus bombs, which are, of course, violating the Geneva Accords. Not only so, we see a move away of diplomatic relationships between Israel and the European nation of Spain. Of course, residents in one part of Spain had blew up the portrait and blew up almost a figurative doll of Netanyahu, saying during the Easter celebrations on Resurrection Sunday. The act formed part of the local customs for burning figures considered symbols of evil during the Holy Week. So, of course, this is a move away from the support usually we are accustomed to see that Israel receives. Mohammed Musab, I want to get a take from you. How do you see this as more people move away because of this genocidal nation trying to impose genocide on other nations in the Middle East? Musab.
So, if you try to look into details of what did not go right during these Islamabad talks, you would understand that Lebanon was probably part and parcel of this. So basically, Iran believes that Lebanon was part of the 2 week ceasefire that was brokered by Pakistan. The United States and Israel believe that it was not. The fact that Pakistan brokered a ceasefire was probably really hard, but the fact that Pakistan tried to maintain that because Iran was constantly calling out Israel's attacks on Lebanon and saying that they're not ready to come to Pakistan, they're not ready to sit down with the United States delegation in Islamabad because the Lebanon part of the deal is not being held by Israel. So what went wrong? Probably, a lot of people are saying it was because of the nuclear thing, and that's an answer that was given by the United States Vice President J.D. Vance. But to my understanding and to people that I've talked to so far, Hormuz, Lebanon, nuclear enrichment were all roadblocks that did not let both sides move forward. At the same time, the fact that the Iranians want unfreezing of their assets abroad, the Iranian missile program, and the fact that Iran wanted guarantees from the international community that they will not be attacked again. What we need to understand here is also the fact that the Trump administration has a midterm election coming up. The Israeli administration has a midterm election coming up, and the Iranians have lost their supreme leader, and then there's a new supreme leader. And if you read the report by Reuters, the state, the condition in which Mujtaba Khamenei is living currently, everybody who came to the table had a lot of baggage. The Israelis and the Lebanese have decided to sort things out between themselves. These talks will happen in the United States this coming week,
Right.
where they've decided that they do not want any mediation. The United States will be a part of that negotiation. It's unclear whether they'll be siding with anybody or whether they'll be facilitators or mediators. But direct negotiations are going to take place. At this point in time, when we're talking, Lebanon is being heavily bombed
Yes.
by the Israelis. Uh, they're using probably this window. I'm trying to be very cautious when I say these things. But yes, Israel has had issues with Hamas. They've had issues with Houthis. They've had issues with Hezbollah, and they're probably using this window to eliminate one of the so-called proxies of the Iranian regime. Let's see what happens. But at this point in time, Lebanon is definitely under everybody's radar, and everybody is hoping that things will cool down, because war is not good. Whenever it happens all over the world, it's not good. It's best that negotiations have fruitful outcomes, have positive outcomes. But to answer your question, yes, they're being heavily bombed. And also, answering the second part of your question regarding Spain, I think the NATO allies, by saying no to the United States, have also, yes, said no to the Israeli regime. They do not want to be dragged into any war in the Middle East. They do not want to take sides in the Middle East anymore. Let's see, keep an eye on China. The UAE is going to be visiting is going to be visiting China. The Crown Prince is going to be visiting China in the coming days, and the UAE has put their weight behind Israel at this point in time, and they want definitive action against Iran, because they believe that they've been betrayed by their neighbors, and they believe that they have a right to stand with the Israelis. So interesting days ahead for news organizations, but it seems it's very bleak for the Middle Eastern countries in the coming days and weeks.